I know you think you got me, but you didn't, right? Because let's read Ezekiel 16:50, because this is in the video where I shared Ezekiel 16:49. What does 16:50 say? This is my Bible. Here it is. It says, "They were haughty and did abominable things before me. Therefore, I removed them when I saw it." That's what it says, right? Here's the thing. What abominable things they did? What's spoken about in 49? That's what they're talking about, right? And I know for many of you, you think when you hear the word abomination, your brain goes to homosexuality. That's not what they're talking about. In fact, if you read this whole thing through and through, I dare you to highlight every time that your translation used the word abomination or abominable. Because I will tell you that they never refer to homosexuality. It is used through, that word is used throughout Scripture, abomination is. Throughout. To talk about many things that has nothing to do with any kind of same-sex act. So, yeah, what's the abomination? What's happening in 49? That's why we read more, to understand it. God.
So you say we need to read more to understand. I agree. You need to read more and stop reading your LGBT ideology into Scripture. Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 49 lists social sins, pride, excess, neglect of the poor. Not one of those is ever called to'evah, or abomination, in the Bible. And then verse 50 says they were haughty and committed abominations before me. That and makes it a continuation of the list, not a definition of verse 49. To'evah isn't about generic pride or greed. That's gayon. To'evah is used for morally and sexually detestable acts. Homosexual intercourse, Leviticus 18:22, 20:13. Child sacrifice, Deuteronomy 12:31. Idolatry, Deuteronomy 7:25. So when God means ritual uncleanness, he uses sheketz. But that's not the word used here either. And we know exactly what Sodom's to'evah was. Genesis 19, men surrounding Lot's house demanding sex with angels. June 7th, they indulged in gross immorality and went after strange flesh. That is sexual perversion, exactly the kind Leviticus calls to'evah. So no, verse 50 is not just repeating verse 49. It's God's final charge that brought judgment. And America is committing the same sins, waving Sodom's flag and daring God to act. And I promise you, he will.